It is great to be here with you. For those that I have not had the privilege of meeting, my name's Chad Engel. I run a small group called Reputation Defender. We're owned by the much larger publicly traded Gen Digital. We service about 500 million customers global, and we stop over 1 billion cyber hacks monthly. Cybersecurity is at the heart of what we do. If you are like me, I did not wake up looking this good this morning. My wife helped me get here. But I would encourage you guys to look around your table and admire the fancy dresses, the colorful tuxedos, and the amazing uniforms that are commanding attention here. And as you do that, I would like you to pick someone at that table and look at them and say, "You look good." Let's hear it nice and loud. Pick someone, say, "You look good." Perfect. Why don't you look back, say, same person and say, "But I look better." Yeah. Well, it is an honor to be in a room filled with so many leaders that are shaping security and resilience of our nation's most essential systems. Whether through public policy, military leadership, technology advancements, this expertise in this room is unmatched. And your work is profounding and impacting millions of people's lives, whether they know it or not. Tonight, we celebrate not only the incredible individuals in the room, but also the ICIT's 10th anniversary. I want to take a moment to put that into perspective, okay? 10 years ago, Let It Go from Frozen was top of the Billboard charts, okay? The Ice Bucket Challenge, where we were all daring other friends to make donations. Most personally to me, 10 years ago on Tuesday will be my 10th wedding anniversary to my sweetheart. So I love you. Thanks for coming with me. A decade flies by. So much has changed. As you think about recent political changes, things of that nature, the one thing we can all agree on is critical infrastructure is bipartisan. It's something that's not going away. It's something that is critical to what we do. At Reputation Defender, we specialize in protecting the leaders of those groups. When you think about ICIT at the top line going across all those, at Reputation Defender, we focus on the leaders, the individuals, and making sure that they cannot be hacked or targeted or phished through the many of the people that want to be able to take down those systems. ICIT's work is truly remarkable. For a decade, they've been at the forefront of protecting critical infrastructures that underpin our society. This isn't just about cybersecurity, it's about safeguarding our future. Reputation Defender is proud to support ICIT because their mission aligns with ours, protecting what's essential for the people and organizations to thrive. While we focus on individuals, ICIT provides the leadership, the innovation, and policy solutions to address the challenges we face in our infrastructure. The work of ICIT has done over the last decade strengthens the foundation of national resilience. From vulnerabilities, assessments, to cutting-edge policy recommendations, ICIT ensures that those of you in the room that have the tools to support those to protect the systems that millions rely on. As we celebrate ICIT's remarkable 10 years of leadership in cybersecurity and infrastructure resilience, it is fitting that we recognize individuals who embody the very essence of impact. ICIT's Impact Award is presented to individuals who has significantly impacted a specific sector, cluster of sectors, or agency through technical excellence, innovation, exceptional leadership. Tonight's honoree is a true embodiment of what impact means. As an Executive Assistant Director for Infrastructure Security at CISA, Dr. Mussington served the infrastructure security and resilience needs of the American people, leading a team of dedicated professionals who work tirelessly with the public and private sectors, partnering to protect and enhance the nation's physical and cyber infrastructure. David has been instrumental in shaping critical policies and frameworks that have impacted our national security through his career, most notably during his tenure as Senior Advisor for the Cyber Policy to the U.S. Department of Defense. He has led the development of the 2011 Defense Strategy for operating in cyberspace. the Defense's first enterprise-wide cyber strategy. To present this Impacts Award, we have the privilege to welcome back last year's Impact Award recipient, Colonel Candace Foster.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. It is truly wonderful to be back with this amazing community. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to stand here today. ICIT has been a long cornerstone for addressing some of the nation's most complex challenges. We bring everyone together with brilliant minds to tackle ever-evolving threats to our critical infrastructure. And the work here we do matters. It protects not just our systems, but our people, our communities, our very way of life. For the past 2 years, I've had the privilege to participate in ICIT's vital mission. I've immersed myself in academic publications and some of the most insightful, forward-thinking works in the field. I've even used the research in the cyber courses that I teach. It's not just knowledge, it's actionable guidance, and it's made a real difference. It's shaped the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. Now today, I am especially honored to introduce someone who embodies the spirit of ICIT's mission, Dr. David Mussington. He is nothing short of a cyber critical infrastructure security master in his role as the Executive Assistant Director for Infrastructure Security at CISA. God bless your business card. That's a lot to say. Woo! He leads efforts to protect our nation's most essential systems, from conducting vulnerability assessments to securing high-risk chemical facilities and safeguarding soft targets. His work ensures the public-private partnership is more than just a buzzword. It's a shield for our communities. His impact does not stop there. Dr. Mussington is a strategic visionary in cyber and infrastructure policy. His career spans pivotal roles, including Senior Advisor for Cyber Policy at the Department of Defense and Director for Surface Transportation for Security Policy on the National Security Council. His ability to anticipate challenges and craft solutions has shaped the policies that keep us safe today. He is also a distinguished educator and thought leader, having served as a professor and director at the University of Maryland's School of Public Policy. His academic work spanning cyber-physical risk management, election cybersecurity, and critical infrastructure resilience has influenced not only his students, but the entire field. And finally, Dr. Mussington's career reflects a lifetime of dedication as a global security advocate. With a doctoral degree and further studies at the University of Toronto and Harvard, his expertise is internationally recognized. He is a lifetime member of the Council of Foreign Relations and has held positions of trust and influence from corporate security leadership at Amtrak to serving on the board of ISC Squared. Dr. Mussington exemplifies what it means to lead with purpose, vision, and a commitment to collaboration. His work left an indelible mark on the field, and it is my absolute honor to invite him to the stage to receive this year's ICIT Impact Award. Please join me in celebrating the remarkable achievement of Dr. David Mussington.
Thanks, Candace, and thanks everyone here for the kind words. And I'm not dazzled by the lights here. I won't try and match Harry's articulate and elliptical comments. I'm going to be a lot shorter than that. I want to thank Param for ICIT. I think we met about 10 years ago when you were just starting, and we were in rooms a lot smaller than this, perhaps in basements, and I was sort of I would go to everything because I wanted to learn a lot, and I wanted to know people who had already sort of proceeded along that sort of developmental trajectory. Param was a leader then, and ICIT is a leader now that sort of surpassed the potential that we saw in those days. I've done a lot of things, I think. I think it's a tribute to the fact that I can't keep a job longer than two or 3 years. Maryland for 4.5 years, this job for a little less than 4 years. Prior to that, 3 years at Institute for Defense Analyses. Prior to that, a couple of years at the Pentagon. Prior to that, a couple of years at Amtrak. So there's a theme here, which is try and have impact in a short period of time, trying to lay a foundation for other people to follow or dismiss as circumstances warrant. My commitment's always been to trying to perceive things a little bit beyond the near term, to try and anticipate where risks are going, hopefully with some humility, though I don't always have humility. You can ask anyone here who knows me well. I'm looking at you, Andrew. The one thing I think that ICIT exemplifies is that commitment to nonpartisan public service, public interest, a conclusion that national security, homeland security aren't partisan issues as much as they are stopping at the water's edge where we can all agree that protecting Americans' livelihoods and Americans' critical infrastructure is a value worth getting over ourselves a little bit. And that may be something that those of you, again, in the room who know me think I can't get over myself very often. But the mission of protecting U.S. critical infrastructure is one of those missions that helps you realize that you're a small cog in a broader machine, and that broader machine is protecting America from the risks and threats that it confronts. Everybody in this room, I hope, understands how threatening and unstable the environment is that we confront. And that's why we at CISA are proud to lead the interagency in critical infrastructure security and resilience in coordinating action where we can add to the sum of efforts to make ourselves collectively more secure. I have to recognize that this is Critical Infrastructure Security and Resilience Month, so Parham, great coordination. Thank you in advance. What we're trying to do here is resolve to be resilient. We're trying to make sure that Americans know that what they do in their own lives scales very well when individual efforts are added together, when critical infrastructure efforts are added together, when those interdependencies that we all recognize exist are actually addressed serially. That creates a bigger multiplicative impact, and that's what CISA is trying to do. That's a small part of what I've tried to do in this career. Quick word on the threats that we face, pacing and chronic. Pacing, People's Republic of China. Chronic, Russia, and an alphabet soup of other actors that I won't go into, often which emulate each other's techniques, procedures, all of which exploit vulnerabilities that we leave unaddressed in critical infrastructure. Looping back into what ICIT's value proposition is, understanding those vulnerabilities, explaining them to critical infrastructures and to the American people, incentivizing action through knowledge and a proposition that says progress is possible. Progress and achievement is possible. Vulnerability and exploitation is not inevitable if we're prepared. If we are prepared, recovery and resilience is a prospect that we can depend on. The practicality of that vision is something that always attracted me to ICIT and attracts me to CISA and wherever else my career may take me in the future. I think that bridging the gap between that macro strategic level where everything looks too hard, where the PRC looks like they're 20 feet tall, where Russia looks like they're 15 feet tall, where the Iranians look like they will be 15 feet tall in a few years. Bridging the gap between that geopolitics level and the practical steps that individual critical infrastructure operators can take to protect themselves from exploitable vulnerabilities in their systems is something that ICIT does well. By explaining the value of individual cyber hygiene and critical infrastructure risk management steps to that broader perspective. And that catalytic effort is something that we don't have enough of in this country. Again, nonpartisan, bipartisan, not part of the rancor of day to day, but part of the backdrop of what makes things work in this society. And I think that's a value proposition that needs to be celebrated. more mundanely, translating the reports, federal government reports, into language that ordinary humans understand is something that ICIT is very good at, and I'm glad that we all benefit from that because I crib constantly from ICIT scholarship when I go out on the road to talk to critical infrastructure, from chemical security operators in the chem sector to schools and school safety entrepreneurs to even the defense sector, where when they have to talk outside the wire to people who aren't defense specialists, they have to learn a new language. That new language is a language that most Americans speak every day. It's called English, and it's for non-security specialists who aren't in the business for security. They're in the business to live their lives and to go about their business in ways that they have a right to do so. The one thing I sort of take in the current job I have and in prior positions like this that I've had is that we take these roles on board so that other people don't have to, so that we can focus on problems on their behalf. And it's a duty I take on, and I know many people in here take on, with a real sense of mission. And I think it's a sense of purpose, and it's a sense of purpose that I've had since I naturalized in 2003. I'm one of those immigrants that you hear of periodically. I moved here from Canada. I moved here to do a postdoc. I moved here because I thought that the potential of this country was greater than any place else that was offering me a place to land. And working for people like Ashton Carter and folks who had a vision for a better future, it's been something that's been a real focus for me throughout my life. I, of course, also, to continue a theme, met my spouse while working on those elements. And even though I said I wouldn't do it, thank you, Harbier, for making me aware that there was more than just defense and critical infrastructure as a life focus. Now, added to that, we just had our 29th anniversary, and we have an 18-year-old. We have an 18-year-old at Marymount University close by who keeps us humble, as 18-year-olds do. Anyway, just to wrap this up, I think that ICIT and CISA have a lot in common. We focus on critical infrastructure, we focus on what's important, we try and coordinate the actions and capabilities of other people to cumulatively create a greater whole that we can all benefit from. And we're also optimistic. We're optimistic that collaboratively we can make the future better than what we have today. And I think this room exemplifies that spirit. And I want to thank you all for listening to me and for this wonderful award. It's a high point for me in my career and my time as an American, a proud American. Thank you all.